everybody. I thought I'd hop on here and give an update since I probably haven't been on here for a good 9 months, maybe 10 months. Um, I began my serious weight loss journey last year, just before the start of the year. I was using an online program called Calibrate and using a GLP-1 medication, which was Trulicity. And just a brief overview of how that went for me. To start with, it was great. They were very responsive. They assigned me a coach that I was to meet with every other week online and didn't care for the first coach, and they reset me up with a different coach, and I loved her. She was super nice, super understood where I was coming from, flexible, everything I would want in a coach. So things went great until last summer as far as using Calibrate. Then things got really weird where the company, via the app and their website, kind of all but stopped answering emails and questions. I ended up in, I believe, August not being able to have my prescription rewritten because no one would get a hold of me and get back to me. So that was very frustrating. If you'd have asked me like in June, would you recommend Calibrate? I'd have been like, yes, wholeheartedly. But it very quickly changed. They did a few things that just were real not user consumer friendly. They got rid of their desktop websites for tracking and whatnot, which I know, perhaps showing my age. I loved using their app, but also it was just super convenient at work just to hop on their website and track my food or whatever I needed to track. So they got rid of that, and then they also revamped their app, which they kept for like weeks, saying this is the best thing since sliced bread and this is going to change everything in your life and be so much easier, but it was horrible. I am on a Calibrate Facebook group and no one could get on, no one could get a hold of anyone. There was no communication. They did away with it, had a real basic food tracking app, like didn't even track your macros or anything, but I loved having all of it in one app. The accountability of being able to be like, okay, I weighed myself, I put in my food, I clicked through the little lessons they had and, checked off if I was following meeting my goals and whatnot. So they decided to get rid of all of that. So by the time their app, it still isn't as good as it used to be. And I just honestly ran out of patience. So I finally was able to get my Trulicity refilled, which is what I was using, if I didn't say that earlier. So it just never really clicked after that as far as a consumer. My coach I liked left legitimately, didn't say a whole lot, so she couldn't. And then so they assigned me to another coach, and she was very nice, but there I was like 9 months, 10 months into the program and like starting from scratch as far as meeting someone. And I'm really an extroverted, sherry kind of gal. So, contrary to what this might seem like. But I just was kind of like, okay, here we go again, small talk and whatnot. And she was fine, but just I didn't want to start all over. Then I think I met with her for about a month and a half, and I received an email or communication from them saying, your coach has left. But during that same time, there was a lot of publicity, um, especially in the Facebook group where people were in the know, like watching for news on the company, that there were massive layoffs and they were overhauling everything. And so I just honestly was like, just kind of done with this. So by the time maybe in November, yeah, November, yeah, for sure, November, they were like, hey, we have a new coach for you. I was just like, nope, just kind of all done. Um, so, like I said, 6 months in, I'd have been like, yep, sign on up. And now I'm like, it was just ended up being kind of a cluster. And personally, I feel like a lot of physicians are more and more willing to give this a go as more and more of these drugs are approved for weight loss. So I am now just doing it through my doctor. And I just started last week officially with my new medicine. I will say I had debated doing Sequence, which is co-owned or owned by Weight Loss, by Weight Watchers. But then I decided I'm just going to hit up my doctor because I really like him and that worked fine. But if I was looking for a program, I might consider Sequence. I don't know. Um, so the little hole in my timeline there is I had my knee replaced on December 14th, which went well. I've had my other one replaced, so I kind of knew what I was expecting, except back when I had that done 7 or 8 years ago, I was in the hospital for 3 days. This we got there at 5:30, had my surgery at 7, was back in the room by like 11:30, and was on my way home and home by 1. So it was very weird as far as that goes, but everything went fine. I feel like I'm healing well and getting back into doing a little working out at home and still doing my physical therapy. I have been off work, but now I am starting tomorrow, going back half days. So we'll see. I think I feel well enough. My doctor at PT on Friday, when he wrote me the letter to go back, was like, "Are you really sure you're ready to go back?" So now I'm kind of a little concerned, but I guess there's only one way to know. Give it a try. So I met with my doctor, rewind to December, met with him for my pre op physical, and he knew I had been taking the Trulicity and I had gotten up to, I was doing a 4.5 dose. I think it's milligrams, but of course I took off my glasses because I didn't want the shiny on here. So, um, and I told him I wasn't seeing the same results. I also a little, jump back a little bit. I had asked twice during the year if I calibrate, if I could try something different, and they said no. So that was kind of frustrating. And some people, how we like to say, they say, were really surprised I had been so successful on Trulicity just because it is the older school of the GLP-1s. So I'd like to account that to just my perseverance, but just dumb luck maybe. Who knows? So I met with him for the pre-op and I asked him about the new med. Zipbound, that's what it was. That is out and he said, "You know what? I don't know a whole lot about it." And where my bird walk came in there was he has been very supportive of me taking the medication. He was supportive of me doing it like this third party way. He's been really great about it. So he said, "I really don't know a whole lot about that one, but we do have someone in our office that does." So I went in about a week and a half ago and met with this gal named Cassie, who I believe I'm a horrible consumer a lot of the time. She's like a pharmacy specialist, so she's like an expert in medications. So I met with her. She was very, very nice. And I think one of the big changes I've seen in this year is I know some people are completely, totally douchebags about, oh, you don't need stuff like that. Just don't eat and work out more and all that kind of stuff. But I think from my experience, the medical community has gotten a lot more there's something to do with this. We'll give it a try and I think they feel like it's now an okay thing. So, it was nice to meet with her and not have to try to convince her. She was just like, "Yep, nope, with Zepbound coming out now, that's the latest and greatest." And she also said, Trulicity is, like a former generation of the GLP-1s. I wanted to look this up, so I actually gave some accurate information, though I am not a medical provider. What Cassie told me was Trulicity was kind of the forefather, the first generation, as far as using a diabetes drug for weight loss. Then the next generation, so to say, is there's Ozempic, which is for diabetes, and Wegovy, which is for weight loss. But those two are the exact same thing. They are just marketed and have been tested differently. So it was interesting to look at, she actually brought in here's the names, how much you can expect to lose, da 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 da. And Ozempic under that name has a much lower expected or potential weight loss, where the Wegovy is significantly higher. But the reason that is, which I found very interesting, is because as far as taking Ozempic for diabetes, the weight loss is just a pleasant side effect. So they don't see, they note it, but they don't study it. Versus when it's Wegovy, which is the exact same thing, my understanding, they are looking for the weight loss as the main goal. So then the next generation is the Zepbound and also the Monjaro, which I started last Monday, the Monjaro, I think a 2.5 milligram. Those are again, Zepbound is for weight loss and Monjaro is for diabetes. So she said right now, and again, if you look at the potential of weight loss, they have with the Monjaro, not, it's a pleasant side effect, not something they focus on. So she said right now that's a little easier to get than the Zepbound, and the Zepbound has not been fully embraced by the insurance companies, but my insurance company did cover the Monjaro. Gotta take a phone call. Sorry, my husband called, so now I have to try and remember where I was in my inane rambling. So, started the Monjaro last week. She did start me on a little lesser dosage just because I had been on the Trulicity higher dosage, but then take I took 2 weeks off before my surgery, and then I was like, I don't know if I should start again or what. So she said we probably could have just picked up at a higher dose, but she was like, just for to be sure, we'll start at the lower end. So far, I have not had any issues with it, so that's good. So I'm excited. Last year was there were ups and downs, little notes, ups and downs with the calibrate, but I felt that the medicine worked real well for me. I followed a lower carb diet and exercised, and I ended up from December 1st, so just over a little like a year and a month ago, I lost 52 pounds. So I feel great about that. Helped. I was able to get my knee done. They probably wouldn't have done it if I was still heavier. And I felt much better as far as like moving about, obviously, and walking. We went to the state fair in August and I was able to walk. My knee was bothering me, but my endurance and stamina was a lot better. So that was good. So I kind of feel like last year I was like and then um like November and Christmas. I will say I feel since I have lost the weight, I've been doing better of maintaining the times I have made some not so good choices. I feel like maybe I've blipped up a little bit, a few pounds, 3, 4, 5 pounds, but then been able just to get back down. So I feel like last year was, and then like November and December were kind of just a flat line. But now I'm ready to hopefully continue going down. I hope my knee continues to feel good. I've been, as I said, going to PT and working out a little bit at home. I did have when I first was home, like passive motion type thing, movement to get your knee moving. It was kind of like a recumbent bicycle, so I had to do that. Their goal was like 5 times a day for, I think it started at 10, then went up to 15. So I was doing it like 4 times a day, TBH. Then once my insurance wouldn't cover that, so I paid for it for 3 months. And I think it was a good thing because my doctor and my physical therapists are both like, wow, you've got range of motion like some people never get to after like a year of PT. So probably just lucky. So then once I was done with that little machine, my husband was nice enough to bring up my fake spin bike. So then I was using that probably for 20, 30 minutes a day. So about 2 weeks ago, I started kind of just like pull up the bootstraps and I need to start moving around the house better and not being afraid. So I started going down the basement and I am able to row. Last week I started rowing a couple times a week and I started out 10, 15 minutes and now I'm up to I can do 20 minutes and it doesn't hurt. Maybe some I don't want to say pain, but achy from, surgery pain, so to say, still healing, but the knee itself feels great. So then I also just started doing, I know with the Manjaro, she stressed, which was also stressed all last year, that it is important to do strength training because you can lose muscle weight if you don't. So I do enjoy lifting weights usually, but need to take a little bit easy. So like today, I've kind of been trying to split up into upper and lower. So today, super, 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 barely even can call it a workout. Just did some calf raisers, some squats and some like the deadlift, not like whew, from the ground, but just down and up, and just did like 3 sets of 10 with a 10-pound weight. So nothing impressive. No PRs were broken today, but I just feel like I should get into the groove. And then last week, a couple days, I just did real basic, curls, overhead press, did some tricep pull downs and chest with a band. Again, nothing earth shattering, but I just want to get back into that habit. So mostly good with my knee and my weight loss. I I always feel like, a lot of people poo poo New Year's resolutions, but I just feel for me it really is like the ultimate do over, especially coming off a year I feel good and I'm proud of. It was just a real good, like, okay, we're going to see the doctor, we're going to get some new meds, and we're going to kick ass and have another great year. So, and I'm going to try to be, I watch tons and tons and tons of YouTube, and I love stuff like, someone's on a weight loss journey or someone gets a trainer and what are they doing and whatnot. So, I'm not going to do that much, but I'm like, maybe this could be like my normal would be like maybe a Saturday morning, not this long vlog. Um, just because I always go back and forth, should I track food? Should I not track food? Should I journal? Should I journal electronically? Should I journal on paper? Most of the time for me, it's just like make a decision and stick with it. But I'm like, maybe if I just did 5, 10 minutes every Saturday and was like, here's how my week went. What were my highs? What were my lows? What was good? What was bad? Um, because I do feel like post Christmas now I'm back on track. I did dry January because I was at home. So that was pretty easy peasy. Although it was my birthday yesterday and I was like, oh, I'd like some wine, but I didn't. I did have a piece of cake though because I'm like, that's normal. It's okay to have a piece of cake, which is kind of my food goals are to lower carbs, for sure up my protein and just not be an idiot, I think is the easiest way to say it. Don't have a piece of cake and have that turn into a week of binging and stupidity. So we'll see. I am going to try, hopefully at some point during this video, I did a screen cap of my first video. Like I said, I think it was back in December of a year ago, December. That's easier than figuring years. So hopefully I look a little thinner now. My hair is different. I have bangs. So that's about all I have. And if you're watching, I really appreciate it. And if you're not, hopefully it's just good for my inner being to get it out and put in the universe, so to say. So hope you are doing great, having a great new year, and I will chat with you soon.